Hello, beautiful souls. I'm reporting love today from my grandma's kitchen. Kitchen? I'm definitely in my grandma's garden. Anyway, today we wanted to talk about relationships a bit more. Having been in a long-term and very beautiful relationship for the past over 5 years of my life with my life partner and husband, there is so much that I learned along the way, and there are many videos that I did in the past that I share some of these learnings. Now today there's one very specific and important learning that I've learned recently that has changed my life 180%. Just a small cut to remind you that my Bali retreat this August is quickly filling up. The name of the retreat is Divine Beauty, and I'm inviting you on an adventure of a lifetime. We're going to gather on the island of the gods and the goddesses, a full schedule every single day, activities, excursions, healing, breath work, dancing, anything you can possibly imagine. I tried to make this trip as rich and deep as possible so that in the span of 1 week, you can get as much as you can to really taste the wholeness of Bali and know what it is that's truly calling you to go deeper within it, in the feminine path, in your own life, whether in your healing work or in your purpose. Because what you'll find out is that trucks pass by it random times, is that there's so much for you to discover, and you're going to feel more alive, more in your body, more activated than you ever did before after this retreat. So if it's calling you, it's going to be August 12th. We already have 15 women on board and just a few more spots. So I'd love to see you there. You can find the application below, and if you're a good fit, we're going to reach out to you and hope to see you there. Every relationship has ups and downs. That's completely normal. As long as you have love and you have a willingness to listen to the other person's needs and, yes, change, not necessarily be changed, but that you're willing to adapt and grow and evolve, then you're on the right path. But there is one secret ingredient that most couples miss, or at least I, for the good 4 out of 5 years that I've been in this relationship, have overlooked the importance of. And that thing is space. You gotta give space. You gotta take space. We can make a whole song. You gotta give space. You gotta take space. You gotta space. Okay, so why am I talking about space? When you're in love, when you're in a relationship, one thing that happens, that I've seen happen in most of the couples around me, including myself, is something called symbiosis and codependency. That means you were one, you became two, you became two. And so that's something people used to make fun of me and Madiha for early on in the relationship, that we're always together, we're always doing everything together, and especially for people like us. And if you're like me and you're working at home and you're both working at home, and so you're together a lot of the time, space is a rare luxury. And if you're gonna take it, you're gonna claim it, and you have to fight for it. And that's why if you are an influencer or a creator or an entrepreneur who works from home, or even a stay-at-home mom, whatever the situation is, in today's world, we are becoming more and more symbiotic and codependent. And one of the things we're losing is this old, a bit stereotypical energy from the 1950s of the husband goes to work and we stay at home and take care of the home and all of this. Now, I'm not saying that is the ideal, because obviously a woman's place is not just in the kitchen. We like to be out in the wild as well. But what I'm trying to say is a bit of that dynamic was necessary for the polarity that was created. And in the same way that dynamic was created by the polarity, the lack of space, the lack of everybody going in their own direction during the day, during the week, during the year, it also creates an erosion of the polarity. And so when you're in a long-term relationship and you're spending so much time together and you're traveling together and you're working together, it's so important to make sure that there are 3 rhythms in which you bring in space during the day. So for example, for me, my mornings are sacred. Nobody can enter. In the beginning of the relationship, we love to share, me and Ihab, so we used to talk all the time. He used to love sharing whatever he's learning, whatever he's reading. We used to love sharing our dreams maybe for the first whole hour of the day, etc., etc. And I realized actually I love sharing with him and receiving from him, but my morning is something so sacred to me, and I prefer to be in more space, in more silence, with music, with my yoga, and more introspective and meditative, and to hear what my being has to say before I hear what another person has to say, even if that's my soulmate. So the first rhythm is the day. Where are you taking space for yourself in the day? Maybe in the beginning, maybe in the end, maybe in the middle. It doesn't matter where. You just make sure that there's time in the day that is yours and only yours. Same for the week. for example, I'm here at my grandma's. I love to come here every few days, have lunch, spend time with my family, maybe go out in the garden. That's also me time. Because otherwise I'm at home, I'm with Ihab, we're waking together, we're lunching together, we're working together, and I just feel sometimes I need to go take my own day rhythm space. So during the days, also the week, how are you retrieving yourself from this unit so that you can return? And then during the month or the year, so on the longer span. So recently, for example, I traveled, many of you know, I've seen the vlog, you can see it above, where I traveled to Vietnam with my mom and her sisters, and I thought this was going to be the most difficult thing ever because we never did it before. And I always felt like just few days is already like unbearable. 1 week, oh gosh, 2 weeks, I don't know, like death. And then this trip was like 3 weeks, and I thought it would be the most difficult thing in the world. But although there were times it was difficult and I missed my partner so much, I felt it was so necessary, and I felt it created a lot of love and remembrance of that feeling together. And it made me realize how important it is to be taking these cyclical times to ourselves. And maybe you'll find, 3 days is more than enough. I think for me, 1 week is kind of like the cap it, max, if it's something essential, 10 days. But still, how important are they? Super important. So if you're in a long-term relationship and you're feeling like something is just getting too, it's almost like we want intimacy, and maybe in a future video I can talk a bit more about how you create intimacy and closeness in a relationship. But in this one, I wanted to share the ingredient that's quite unexpected, which is the opposite of intimacy. It's space. Now let's do an exercise together. We're gonna rub our fingers together. Go ahead. I know you have a busy day, but just do this for a moment with me. Rub your finger, rub, and put them together. That's it. Now put them a bit further apart. Oh, you start to feel the energy, and a bit further apart and a bit further in. And now just a bit further apart, and now put them in. You start to feel the magnetism. Again, put them a bit closer together and a bit further apart. Now push a bit. You start to feel like a ball of energy in the center. Relationships are the same. You have to come apart in order to rekindle this energy between you, because it's so easy to become best friends. And when you're in a relationship, you don't want to just be best friends. You want to be lovers. You want to have this attraction. You want to miss each other. You want to desire each other. And what you want to avoid at all costs is losing that spark. And it's so easy to do so when you are together 24/7. So please, if you are in a long-term relationship, or you're planning to get in one, or you've been in one and you're not yet in that mode where you can let go. Create space. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Just make sure those are times. And after you come back from that space, remember me, because you're going to feel more alive, more attracted, more connected, more desiring, and more desired than you did before the separation, or at least the space. A bit of separation in order to get closer, which is a bit of paradox, because you think, oh, but I'm afraid to lose him. And when you're moving away and don't feel his energy anymore, and you feel like you're all alone, well, don't worry, you're going to be coming back. So the idea is you come apart in order to come closer together, because when you're together all the time, something is lost. And if you're with me here, then there's something about this that sparks your curiosity. Anyway, I hope this was useful. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Leave me your comments before on what you feel is one of the hacks that you found in your own relationship. And of course, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again next week.